Well,
I can play a lot more instruments than just two.
Oh, okay.
would you like to pull out some other things to show us?
Oh, maybe later.
Maybe? Okay.
Moving right along.
Oh, Lordy. This is going to be a fun night. Well, back to my daughter. When maybe, I think it's been a couple of years ago now, she had decided to have a slumber party, and she invited this one little girl over for the slumber party, and the odd part was that the little girl that she chose to invite was somebody that hadn't actually been to our house like in maybe the past 4 or 5 years. And I was a little nervous, I must say, about calling up this mom that I hadn't talked to in 4 or 5 years, because I just ought to tell you that a lot changed in my house over that period of time. And I just wasn't quite sure what she would think about this invitation. But I called her, and she said, well, of course Allison can come. And so we invited her over and picked her up and did all of our little slumber party things. And then it was getting close to time for bed, so everybody put their pajamas on. And I put on some pajamas that show off a very small and, I might add, very tasteful tattoo that I have on my shoulder. And I noticed that, I say that also on behalf of my mother. But I noticed that Allison was just looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. And after about 5 minutes of this, she finally just walked up to me and she said, "Is that a real tattoo?" And I said, "Yes." And then she said, "Well, did it hurt?" I said, "Well, a little bit, not too bad." And she kind of took that in and walked away. And then maybe 5 minutes later, she came back up to me, and this time she was staring at me again, and she was staring at my nose ring. And she was just like this, just kind of looking and looking and looking. And then I said, "Did you want to talk about something or ask me something?" And she said, "Well, do you know what my mom says?" And I thought to myself, probably don't want to know what your mom says, but sure. And she said, "My mom says the only thing I can ever get pierced in my whole life is my ears, not my belly button or my eyebrow or my nose." And I said, "Well, I think that's a good thing for your mom to say. You're only 8 years old. You're not supposed to be thinking about piercing body parts just yet." And she kind of nodded again and walked away. And then maybe 5 minutes later, she just came like barreling through the door, and she said, "You know what? You're really different from back when you were Mrs. Odom." I thought, she is so right about that. Thank God. So here's a little song about back when. Back when I was grown up, when I wore my hair like normal people, when my nose was free of holes and I had no tattoos. Back when I was grown up, when I went to bed at 10 o'clock, 11 at the very latest, if I caught the news. Manicured lawn and pedicured toes, hospital corners, ribbons and bows. Everything was simple then, goodness knows life sucked. Back when I was grown up. Back when I was grown up, I had food in my refrigerator, money in my bank account, enough to pay my dues. Back when I was grown up, I read every book endorsed by Oprah, anything by Deepak Chopra, read the Bible too, waved my flag for liberty. Father knows best and leave it to Beeve. Everything was simple then, Judas Priest, life sucked. Back when I was grown up. I've learned after singing this song all over the country for a couple of years now that there are little pockets all over this country where this song just does not go over well. Back when I was grown up, back when I belonged to PTA and I sang in the choir and attended Sunday school. Back when I was grown up, back when I would poo-poo NPR and still voted Republican and Rush Limbaugh was cool. Right to lifer, refugee, who's afraid of lesbians? That would be me. Then someone flipped a switch, and I learned I'd rather be like a kid with a mind and a heart and a soul that is free. Back when I was grown up, I won't grow up.
I won't grow up.
I don't want to go to school.
I don't want to go to school.
Just to learn to be a parent.
Just to learn to be a parent.
And recite a silly rule.
And recite a silly rule.
If growing up means it would be beneath my dignity to climb a tree.